Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Progressive Insurance. Insurance for motorcycles, boats, and RVs. For protection on the road and on the water. See how much you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
Some people reach a line and stop. Some hit a wall and turn around. Then there are the ones who cross the line, climb the wall, face obstacles, and turn them to their advantage. That's where we come in. We're the next rodeo. We design bold marketing that drives real growth. A creative partner for businesses ready to push forward beyond what's expected. The Next Rodeo. Learn more at thenextrodeo.com.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
Exactly, Stephen A. He's been here for 10 years, and we're still trying to figure him out. The Justin Kenner Show, weekdays at 3 p.m., right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Spencer Steer at the plate. First pitch on the way. In the dirt. It gets away. Here comes Ellie. The glove flip. He can't get a glove on it. Ellie scores and the game's tied. Suarez up. They're benching up to second, and this game is all even at 2.
All right, how about that? Last night, the Reds extend their winning streak to 5 straight games. And, of course, the Reds, all momentum on their side, despite the fact that the offense has been non-existent. It was all existent last night in the final innings of that, including that Spencer Steer shot right there that tied it up at 2 that ultimately led to the Reds going on to win 6-3 in extras last night. It took 10 innings of work to get it done, but the Reds find a way to get it done. 6-3 the final, 8-3 the record for your Redlegs after winning 5 straight. And we'll talk about all of that more coming up on today's show. We do got Bengals talk coming up around the corner. Dexter Lawrence has requested a trade from the New York Giants. He's one of the best pass rushers in all of football. And right now is, he wants out of New York. He wants out of New York. And there's not a lot of teams out there that have the draft capital or the desire to potentially pull off a move like that, or are they in a position to give up the draft capital to pull off something like that? The Bengals just would have to do something that they don't normally do, and that's be uncharacteristic, make an uncharacteristic decision, and that would be being willing to give up some draft stock to do that. So we'll talk about that coming up around the corner. Potential changes coming to college athletics, how it could impact our local college basketball teams like Wright State, like Dayton, Ohio State, Xavier, Cincinnati, and others, even the Red Hawks. I mean, the Red Hawks were a big talking point for a lot of college basketball fans last year. Could that be the case, moving forward? But it's not just college basketball, it's college football. And it, of course, all has to do, with the eligibility factors for these, putting some limits, age limits, terms, 4 years out of high school, 5 years out of high school, 5 years in college, whatever. We'll talk about all that coming up around the corner. But you heard it. You heard how the show started, a 6-3 win last night. The Reds have now won 5 straight and big performances across the board. Keep in mind, the Cincinnati Reds were shut out. They only had 2 hits heading into the 9th inning. They put up 2 big runs in the 9th inning to extend the game. And then, of course, they would go on to put 4 runs up in the top of the 10th inning. They give up a run in the bottom of the 10th, but they hold on. Emilio Pagan picks up the win. Emilio Pagan picks up the win in extras, but he leads Major League Baseball in the saves category, of course, or tied for leading the league in saves. But Emilio Pagan just continuing to be that anchor at the back of the bullpen. But how about the bats coming alive? Because I really did. I had my notes ready to go for the show today. It's great seeing the fight of the Reds finding ways to win, despite the fact that the lineup is just continuing to struggle and not produce. And I don't even know if, the Reds have rid themselves of that problem moving forward. But for 9 innings, or at least 8.5 innings last night, we saw that the Reds offense was just non-existent. And again, another great pitching performance. They lose 6-3. It was 6-3 was the final. Another game where they, give up 3 or less runs. This pitching staff is legit. No matter who they throw out there on that rubber, whether it's a starter, middle relief, closer by Emilio Pagan, who at times makes things a little dicey. I get it, but the results are there. The Reds are finding ways to win. Despite the fact that they have a lot of reasons why they should be losing games. I don't know if you guys saw this. Excuse me. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but we were talking so much about how the Reds were the only team in baseball remaining that had yet to commit an error. Well, they committed an error last night, or at least so we thought. See, Trent Rosecrans tweeted out earlier today that the Reds' error-free streak is still alive. A scoring change from last night's game removes the error on Matt McClain. The Reds are the last team without an error in Major League Baseball. Their fantastic defensive run continues. Again, to be 11 games in at this point, and the only team in baseball left to not have committed an error is pretty impressive. I saw Nick Kirby, good friend of mine with Chatterbox. Him and I worked together for about a year when our paths crossed over at Chatterbox a year ago. But he tweeted out, too, the impressive thing about the Reds' defensive streak without, committing an error. He says the Reds are also up to +2 outs above average, which is tied for 8th best in Major League Baseball. The Reds were -6 in that department before acquiring Cabrian Hayes last year. So while this is a great stat that the Reds have yet to commit an error, he goes on to highlight that the defensive improvement overall is trending well. That, in his opinion, is the number one thing that has changed since adding Terry Francona as their manager. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Opening up with the Reds, of course. We got some NFL to get to around the corner. I'm not a Bengals fan. I like the idea of the Bengals being aggressive and going to look at a guy like a Dexter Lawrence. So we'll talk about that more coming up here around the corner. Ron Howard's in the chat. He said, Reds can't count on bats waking up late in games. Hitting still remains a problem. Pitching will not hold up. This team will be one and done come playoff time. Well, listen, I'm here to tell you, Ron, the Reds will not be one and done come playoff time, because if the offense does continue like this, they will not make the playoffs. But all right, this is a team that's hitting well below. I mean, the one thing about this team, this is what Sean and I got into a debate about earlier when the season first started, is, this team is made up of a bunch of guys who just haven't done anything before. And I was like, I totally disagree. Like, we know what these guys have done. We know what these guys are capable of. And all of these guys, I guess if you want to make, a silver lining, is all of these guys are playing below what the back of their baseball card looks like. Right? Like, TJ Friedel's going to turn it around. That Eugenio Suarez is going to pick it up. That Tyler Stevenson, Spencer Steer, we saw it last night. These guys are they're going to pick it up. If you guys remember, there was a stretch of baseball last year where the Reds, you remember where they went 4 straight games of being shut out? Was it 3 or 4 straight games last year? Let me pull that up. There was a stretch last year right around this time where I'm like, man, this might be a horribly long season. Yeah, I have it pulled up right here. The Reds, from April 1st until April 3rd, they were shut out 1-0 in 3 straight games. They lost 1-0 in game 2 against the Rangers, game 3 against the Rangers, and were shut out 1-0 in game 1 against the Brewers. Now, they went 3 straight games without scoring a run last season, and we thought that this team was never going to turn it around offensively. The sad thing is they did turn it around offensively. It just wasn't anything to truly brag about, but I think that the Reds are going to turn it around. I don't think that this is going to be a top 5 hitting team in baseball by any means. I just don't think that this team is as bad offensively as what they have been up to this point. This team did not improve enough in the offseason offensively, but that doesn't change the fact that this team is not as bad offensively as what they have been. Last night, the bats waking up in the bottom of the ninth, or in the top of the ninth, and heading in, of course, to the 10th, where they really did some damage, putting up 4 of their 6 runs in the top of the 10th inning. The Reds bats came alive, and they were clutch at bats, and guys made plays when they needed to. Here's what I'm content and happy about as we sit here right now. All right, TJ Friedel continues to show improvement, continuing to find ways to get on base. I know he didn't get a hit last night, but he drew a walk and he put himself in position to score a run. Matt McClain, another big game for him. He was 2 for 5 last night at the plate, 2 RBIs. He scored a run himself. Elly De La Cruz, this is what I love about Elly. This is why I'll always take a player like Elly over a power bat, is because Elly finds ways to continue to contribute and to continue to put this team in position to win games. He didn't get a hit last night, but he got an RBI. He scored a run. He walked twice. He's still hitting .250 on the season, leads the team in home runs. Didn't get a hit last night, but he drew 2 walks. And you know what Elly is on? He's on a little stretch right now where he's had 1 strikeout in the last 3 games. Elly is all of a sudden starting to see the ball better. He's more patient at the plate. He drew 2 walks last night. That's why I'm more concerned about Elly's strikeout numbers than Suarez, because Suarez's strikeout numbers are a result of constantly swinging for the fences. Elly could be more disciplined at the plate, draw more walks. And this is something I talked to you guys about last week. I was like, I want to see Elly be more plate disciplined. I don't care if he hits the ball to the ballpark or not. I don't care if he goes an entire month without hitting a home run like what happened last year. As long as within that month of not hitting a home run, He's finding ways to get on base, finding ways to get in scoring position, knock guys in, get knocked in. And that's what Ellie is finding ways to do. Again, 0 for 3 last night, but he drew 2 walks, scored a run, an RBI, finding ways to get it done. And how about Sal Stewart? Sal Stewart, here we are 11 games in. He's hitting .351 on the season. Last night, 1 for 3, another RBI, drew a walk as well, just continuing to get things done. The rookie, I mean, we're talking about a guy that is going to be in position to win Rookie of the Year. I think this is a legit all-star, from what we're seeing. It's only 11 games in, but this isn't just a couple game stretch. I mean, we're 11 games in, and this guy gets a hit in every game. He is on base in every game. He is contributing in every game. And I think that's what matters more than anything else. So 937-518-1410, that's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Reds fans, are we starting to believe yet? Are we starting to buy in? I was guilty of being super negative last week. I get it. I'm still disappointed in how the team looks offensively at times, but I did love seeing how they kind of woke up last night. Low coming in and pinch hitting for Ke'Bryan Hayes last night. He gets a big hit. He drives in a run. He sets the tone. Guys are getting it done, and we're starting to see it a little bit more up and down that lineup. Even last night, Tyler Stevenson, didn't get a hit, but he drew a walk and scored a run. Spencer Steer, found a way to get it done, to get that ball in play, and that's what we saw. So at the end of the day, I'm happy with what the Reds are doing. Let's pick up with more Reds talk when we come back. Bengals talk around the corner as well. Dexter Lawrence, I think the Bengals need to be a team that's aggressively trying to find a way to put themselves in play if indeed the Giants look to move on from the star pass rusher. We got a lot more coming your way. It's the Justin Kinner Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Harry Douglas here. Let me ask you something. What if you can enjoy the taste of a cocktail, the warmth of a spirit, and still stay fully in control? That's RK Zero Proof, a pioneer in the alcohol-free spirits category. RK delivers bold flavor and a real warming sensation with 0 alcohol, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and 0 calories. Perfect for nights out, social gatherings, or anytime you want the experience of a drink without sacrificing tomorrow. Check it out at rkbeverages.com. That's ARKAY beverages.com. RK, all the flavor, none of the alcohol.
Progressive knows you could have easily taken the freeway, but you took the scenic route to see a waterfall and an oddly busy boiled peanut stand. Discovering the unexpected is exactly why you bought an RV, so protect it with a bundle from Progressive. Because although you may be 3 hours behind schedule, you're 6 jars of jam richer and possibly enrolled in a butter churning workshop. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Upgrade to a new quality bath remodel in less time with minimal inconvenience and for less money with Bath Creations in as little as 2 days. We do it right. There are a lot of others boasting about bath remodels these days. Well, Bath Creations' expert craftsmanship and customer service speaks for itself. Plus, all first responders, veterans, and active military will save an additional $500 off your purchase. Visit our beautiful showroom at 8741 North Kimmel Road in Clayton or at mybathcreations.com and upgrade your new bath today.
Save big money on your next project with help from Menards. Be prepared for flooding and keep your basement dry with Barracuda pumps. Barracuda makes high-quality pumps that offer dependable performance for when you need it most. Save big money on all Barracuda pumps now at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage the big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior Partnership, a fantastic organization working hard to prevent veteran suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does. They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
When you see a Gravely mowing the grass, you're looking at over 100 years of ingenuity in action. You're seeing a rugged, durable machine professional lawn service companies have relied on for generations. Or maybe you see a homeowner who demands the best, cutting their own lawn like the pros, whether mowing or on a trailer between jobs. When you see a Gravely, you're seeing greatness at work. Take your lawn mowing up a notch with a Gravely. See the full line at your local dealer.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
A multi-billion-dollar settlement is paying claims for up to 21 years. If you were exposed to weed killers at work or at home, your rights are affected. If you or your family has or had non-Hodgkin lymphoma, you could receive $6,000 to $165,000 or more. This settlement impacts you even if you're not sick, because this blood cancer can take 10 to 15 years to appear. If you stay in the settlement, you give up your right to sue. Learn more at weedkillerclass.com or call 888-403-8201. Paid for by the Roundup Settlement.
Some shows give you hot takes. We give you hot takes, cold takes, wrong takes. We'll let you know when Kinner has a right take. The Justin Kinner Show. Weekdays 3 to 5 on 1410 ESPN Wing AM. Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show. Right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
All right, everybody, we are back. It's the Justin Kinner Show here on a Wednesday, 937-518-1410, the number to call or jump in on the conversation. Reds win 6-3 last night. They've now won 5 straight, and they've won back-to-back series. They've won 3 of their first 4 series to kick off the 2026 season, taking 2 of 3 from the Boston Red Sox in the opening series of the year, of course, and then dropping 2 of 3 against the Pirates, but they swept the Rangers and have a chance to sweep the Marlins coming up later on tonight. We'll see if the Reds' hot start can continue. You know, and again, like this kind of, you know, I feel like we keep doing this thing where we move the goalpost with the Reds. Like, for instance, they had a lot of guys that had really good spring numbers. Everyone kept saying it's just spring. Who cares? Let's see if they could do it in the regular season. Okay. And then they have a lot of success to start the regular season. And they're like, well, just relax. It's still early April. We're not anointing this a playoff team or a World Series team or a division winning team. We're not labeling this team anything other than a team that is playing really good freaking baseball right now. I mean, I'm going to be excited about the Reds because, you know, in the next week, they could disappoint us in feeling miserable again. So why not enjoy the run that they are currently on right now? I mean, you look at where the Reds sit right now atop the NL Central, 8-3, along with the Milwaukee Brewers. The Reds and the Brewers have the third. They're tied for the 3rd best record in all of baseball. The Los Angeles Dodgers are 9-2. Right? You go down or you look around, the New York Yankees are 8-2. And then there's the Reds and Brewers at 8-3. It's not like there's a logjam of 8-3, 9-2 teams. I mean, you look at the NL West right now, the Diamondbacks, Rockies, Padres, and Giants. Giants, Padres, and Diamondbacks all supposed to be really good teams. They're all 5-6 to start the season. 5-6, 4-8. You know, I'm looking at the NL East, the Mets. They're supposed to be, if they're healthy, there's a really good team. They're loaded when healthy. They didn't miss the playoffs last year because they weren't good. The Reds made the playoffs and the Mets missed the playoffs because they were injured and banged up. They're 7-4 to start. They're okay. The Braves are 7-5. Marlins were 6-3, and the Reds just took the first 2 games of that series. So there's a lot of teams who are off to solid starts. I mean, the Rangers are 6-5, Astros 6-6. The Guardians are 7-5. The Royals are 5-6. The Guardians are going to probably win that Central again because I just don't think that division is very good to begin with. And then there's the NL East. or AL East, I'm sorry, the Orioles 5-6, the Rays 5-6, Blue Jays 4-7, the Red Sox 3-8. So again, the Reds could be 3-8, and we would be sitting here saying that they stink. Well, they're 8-3. Why can't we say that they're good? I don't know if they're winning a World Series. I don't know if they're making the playoffs. I don't know if they're winning this division. But right now, 11 games in, this is a pretty fun damn team to watch despite their deficiencies. They're not a fun team to watch offensively with the bat in their hand. But, man, when you get into that 7th, 8th inning and you start to see the way this team grinds to find ways to win baseball games, when you look at how good this pitching staff is, you're getting 6 innings at least a night from your starters. You're getting, guys coming in and giving you extended middle relief innings in the middle. And then you're getting Emilio Pagan, who I think has been their MVP 11 games in, leads baseball in saves, and picks up his first win of the season last night, coming in late and giving him more crucial innings. This bullpen is deep. They have a lot of talent all over the place. And when you talk about the talent that's in the pitching staff, they're without their top 2 pitchers. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as I'm concerned. I think that the Bengals, sorry, we're going to talk Bengals more coming up here in just a moment. But yeah, you look at some of these stats for the Reds up and down right now. All right, they are dead last in runs. Okay, they've scored 28 runs on the season. That's dead last. That's the least amount of runs scored by any team in baseball, and they have the 3rd best record in baseball. All right, they're as far as their as a team, they're hitting 210 on the season. That's not very good at all, but it puts them right there in the middle of the pack. That's how bad teams are collectively at hitting the baseball right now, that the Reds are hitting 210 on the season. You would think that that's near the bottom. They're right there in the middle of the pack. They're ranked 14th. The Reds they've hit, 10 home runs on the season. They're actually 6th in that department between Tyler Stevenson, Ellie De La Cruz, Eugenio Suarez, Sal Stewart. They have a variety of guys who have actually showed potential for power this year. They've actually, 10 of their 28 runs have come off of home runs. They're tied for 7th. They've stolen 7 bases on the season. In fact, that's 7th in Major League Baseball. But this is where, the bread and butter for the Reds is coming from. It's coming from their pitching. They have the best starting rotation in baseball 11 games in. They've had no Hunter Green, no Nick Lodolo, and yet their starters have the best ERA in all of baseball. Their bullpen, they've used that bullpen a lot. A lot of the same guys, yes, but they're ranked 4th in Major League Baseball in bullpen ERA at just 2.84. So the bullpen ERA, 4th best in baseball. Their rotation is the best in baseball ERA-wise. They're 14th as far as, their batting average is concerned collectively as a team. And this team still has a lot of room to grow. This team is playing as well as they are right now, and they're not hitting the baseball. This team is playing as well as they are right now, and they don't have Hunter Green or Nick Lodolo. They still have a really good lefty that they could add back to this bullpen in Ferguson whenever it's all said and done. And then on top of that, they have a lot of potential really good hitters like Reese Hines and others who are down in Louisville ready to have their number called at any given moment. I'm choosing to be positive. I don't know how you could be negative, but I've seen enough to feel good about this team. Only because I don't think that oh my gosh, I'm surprised. Like, think about the reasons that they're winning. Actually, everything about this team right now, they are who we thought they were. We knew this team is going to be top 5 in baseball pitching wise, and they are. We knew this team was going to be top 10 or top 5, top 10, top 5 in bullpen, and they are. We knew this team was going to struggle offensively, and they definitely have. So the Reds are who we thought they were, but they're 8-3. And I think what we did not account for is this is the stuff too that I don't think that we as sports fans have been taught to not be patient anymore. In college football, college basketball, if you have a problem, you go fix it in the portal. In the NBA, you have a problem. You'll have a coach that'll win NBA Coach of the Year 1 year and be fired 2 months in the next season because things aren't going well for those 2 months, even though the whole previous season, everything went well. We want instant results. We want, we want heads on the chopping block the second things don't start going well. We're not patient at all. We're 11 games in. I love what we're seeing from the Reds because we're starting to see the growth of this team. This team, for years, has been finding ways to lose baseball games. They're now finding ways to win. Last night, getting absolutely just blanked across the board. They look as inept offensively last night as what we've seen all year, and they've looked bad all year. And then just kept grinding, kept fighting. and they put 6 runs up over the last 2 innings in the 9th and the 10th to win in extras, to remain undefeated on the road, to extend their winning streak to 5, to, win their second straight series. They've won 3 of 4 series already this season. What's there to be negative about? They need to hit better. You're right. You're right, but I actually think that we've seen some of the worst hitting from the Reds. And I'm not saying that they're going to creep into the top 10 by any means as far as offensive numbers are concerned, but I think that we've seen the worst of the Reds offensively, just like we did last year around this time. A year ago at this time, this team had got shut out 3 straight games. In fact, they scored 2 runs over 4 games. They lost 1-0 for 3 straight games and then lost 3-2 in the 4th game where they erupted for 2 runs. And then after that, the Reds, a lot of guys started heating up and all that. Like, I just think that the margin for error is not as slim for this team as what it used to be. This team is showing that they have grown. They know how to grind and fight and find ways to win. And we're seeing how much more patient they are as well defensively. Elly De La Cruz has not made an error 11 games in. He's led baseball in that category or been one of the league leaders in that category for years. And there's still plenty of games left for him to get back into that. But not only Elly De La Cruz, but the team as a whole defensively, they're making no mistakes. When you're getting as dominant a performances as you are out of your rotation, when you're getting top-tier elite production out of your bullpen, and when you have guys defensively that aren't making mistakes out in the field, you can overcome some of these deficiencies, and we've seen that 11 games in. I'm fine with what the Reds have done. I'm happy with what the Reds have done. You should be happy with what the Reds have done, nonetheless. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Again, I know I mentioned this at the beginning of the show, but I already said that the Reds have yet to commit an error this season. Technically, last night, Matt McClain was given, he was given an error in the books. But C. Trent Rosecrans tweeted this out earlier today around noon, saying that the Reds' error-free streak is still alive. The scorebook, they changed it from last night's game. It removed the error on McClain. The Reds are the last team without an error in all of Major League Baseball. 8-3, 11 games in, no errors. Their pitching, their rotation has the number 1 ERA amongst all rotations in baseball, and they have the 4th best ERA amongst all bullpens. They're not committing errors. They're not scoring a lot of runs. In fact, when I say not scoring a lot of runs, no team in baseball has scored less runs than the Reds. But there's only 2 teams in baseball that have more wins than the Reds. That's how good of a start we're seeing already from your Red Legs. Be positive. That's what I'm trying to do. We'll have the lineups for the Reds. We'll have your Reds lineup coming up around the corner. The Reds looking to go for the sweep coming up later on tonight. We'll see if they could pull that off. Again, the Reds, they've already won back-to-back series, but can they sweep back-to-back series? Winners of 5 straight, 6 straight wins would give them back-to-back sweeps. They took 3 straight against the Rangers on the road and looking to do the same thing here tonight against the Marlins. If they do pull that off, that means they would have pulled off back-to-back sweeps on the road. Reds 8-3, Marlins 6-5. Brady Singer will be on the mound tonight. And then Yuri Perez will be pitching for the Marlins. A couple of the Reds hitting leaders, of course, thus far. Elly De La Cruz hitting .250 on the season. He's driven in 6 runs, has 3 home runs on the year to lead the Reds in that category. Sal Stewart, team leader, hitting .351. His on-base percentage, .468, and his slugging percentage at .595. Those aren't just good for a rookie. Those numbers aren't just good for a rookie. Those numbers are good for the most elite of elite players in baseball, and he's killing it right now. How about Eugenio Suarez leading the team in RBIs with 7 RBIs? He's hit 2 home runs, hitting below 200. He hasn't got a hit in the last 2 games. But again, expect him to potentially have a big night tonight going up against Yuri Perez. Suarez, we'll see if he can hit himself out of the funk that he finds himself in nonetheless. All right, Bengals, you've done a good job defensively. You've made a couple solid moves this offseason, but I can't think of a better way to show your fans that you are committed to not just being competitive during the Joe Burrow era, but trying to win Super Bowls during the Joe Burrow era. There's a certain star player that has announced that he wants out of his current team. He wants traded away from his current team. and it just so happens to be a star player in a key position that the Bengals really need to get production from. Could we see the Bengals get into the conversation? We'll discuss when we come back. It's the Justin Kinner Show here on a Wednesday. We'll be right back.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 2689 Commons, Dayton.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-216-1635 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-216-1635. That's 800-216-1635. What do you have to lose? Call 800-216-1635. Again, 800-216-1635.
Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun or a great night out with friends. Looking for a clean and safe venue for your new grad celebration? Check out our VIP suite at Polking Lane South. Set the mood for your event with a state-of-the-art VIP experience in our private 8 lanes VIP suite. Booking now for spring and summer events. Let the good times roll at Polking Lane South in Centerville on Kings Ridge Drive, Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, and Polking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue.
Cordell Transportation is looking for more weekend warriors. If you have a Class A CDL and would like to make some extra money casually driving weekend daytime routes, then Cordell Transportation is looking for you. Home daily, all loads round trip, no touch freight, and competitive pay. Full-time routes could become available if you're interested. Drive weekends at Cordell Transportation. Apply at CordellTransportation.com or call Ron at 937-277-7271. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Raise your hand if you're excited about feeling older faster than you should. No takers? Yeah, didn't think so. Ongoing pain makes you feel older than you are. But here's the good news. QC Kinetic patients here in Dayton are getting relief, feeling younger, jumping back into life full speed, and it didn't happen in an operating room. The QC Kinetic medical professionals use the latest regenerative treatments backed by real science, treatments that take the tiny, powerful healing tools inside your body, concentrate them right where you need relief. That's how Mike is training for a marathon instead of giving up running. Patrick's golf game is on fire again. Kathy walked around Disney with her grandkids. No pain. All real QC Kinetic patients. The sooner you start treatment, the sooner inflammation eases and the sooner joint damage slows down. Because no one signs up for feeling older faster. Find out if you're a candidate for QC Kinetic regenerative treatments. Your visit and consultation is free. 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325.
Hey, did you hear about that multi-billion-dollar Roundup settlement?
Yeah, it impacts people who are exposed to weed killers at work or at home, even if you just used it in your own yard. Lawsuits claim it causes non-Hodgkin lymphoma, a blood cancer.
But we're not sick, so that doesn't affect us.
But it does. This cancer can take 10 to 15 years to show up.
That's a long time after exposure.
It is, and that's why the settlement is paying claims for up to 21 years. If you get sick, even years from now, you could get $6,000 to $165,000 or more as part of the settlement.
So what's the catch?
If you stay in, you give up the right to sue them later.
Learn more at weedkillerclass.com or call 1-888-403-8201. If you or a loved one has or had non-Hodgkin lymphoma, even if they've passed, you must register for benefits. That's weedkillerclass.com. 1-888-403-8201. Paid for by the Roundup Settlement.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
1410 Wing AM, Dayton's ESPN Radio, powered by.
It's about time delivery worked on your schedule. Same day, next day, or scheduled in advance. However you plan it, the Home Depot delivers the whole job. From drywall to doors, plumbing to paint. We'll get it there when you need it. Because on the job site, timing is everything. You order, we deliver. It's that easy. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time.
The Reds have upset their fans. The Bengals and Browns are preparing for their top 10 draft picks. Ohio State is coming off a playoff season. Just another sports year in Ohio. Now back to 1410 ESPN Radio.
Spencer Steer at the plate. First pitch on the way. In the dirt. It gets away. Here comes Ellie. The glove flip. He can't get a glove on it. Ellie scores and the game's tied. Suarez up, or Benson up to second, and this game is all even at 2.
All even at 2 in the top of the ninth, and the Reds would, of course, force extras where they'd go on to win 6-3. The Reds have won 5 straight, looking to go for 6 straight tonight in their third and final game against the Marlins. A win tonight would give them the sweep, and it would be their second straight sweep. And, of course, already winning 3 of the first 4 series of the season. Before we move on to the Bengals, the Reds lineup is out, and we'll take a look at that again. The Cincinnati Reds lineup here for tonight. TJ Friedl will bat first, lead things off, and get the start in center field. At second base, batting second, Matt McClain. At shortstop, batting third, Ellie De La Cruz. Cleaning up tonight at first base, batting fourth is Sal Stewart. The designated hitter, Eugenio Suarez, will bat fifth. In left field and batting sixth will be Will Benson. Behind the plate and batting seventh, of course, will be Tyler Stevenson. Batting eighth in right field, Noelvi Marte. And batting ninth at third base will be Ke'Bryan Hayes with Brady Singer on the mound for your Redlegs. One more time, your lineup here for tonight, a 6:40 first pitch, 6:10 pregame coverage will begin. Your lineup, one more time, Friedl, McClain, De La Cruz, your 1, 2, and 3 hitters. 4, 5, and 6, Stewart, Suarez, and Benson. And then you'll have Stevenson, Marte, and Hayes batting 7th, 8th, and 9th. There you go. All right, over to the NFL. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big fan of when they do the schedule release. That's going to be coming up in mid-May. They announced that in mid-May, about the 14th or 15th is when they are guesstimating that they're going to do the schedule release for the 2026 NFL season. I love when the schedule comes out. I love when we find out. Not like we know who our teams are going to play. It's just a matter of when they're going to play them. Right? Like not who the Reds are going, or not who the Bengals are going to play. We know who they're going to play. It's just a matter of when they are going to play those games. And I think that's important to me. And I love kind of seeing, the different primetime games and that type of thing. So that's going to be coming out here in about a month. So keep that in mind. We know who the Bengals will play. We just don't know when they'll play them. So to give you a little bit of an idea, the home schedule for the Cincinnati Bengals in 2026, these are the teams that the Bengals will have at Paycor in 2026. We do get to see a Joe Burrow, Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes showdown. It's been a few years since we got to see those two teams go at it. Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars going up against Joe Burrow and the Bengals at Paycor. Going to get to see Tennessee, the Titans. They'll be at Paycor as well. The Saints and the Buccaneers out of the NFC. That rounds out your non-AFC North teams that you'll get a chance to see the Bengals play at home. Again, the Chiefs, the Jaguars, the Titans, the Saints, and the Buccaneers. Those are your 5 non-AFC North home games for next season. As far as who the Bengals are going to play on the road, all right, the Commanders are going to be a much more difficult opponent. They're going to have Jaden Daniels back, you would think, but we'll see how the Commanders bounce back in year 3 of Jaden Daniels, who should be healthy. You'll have the Commanders on the road. The Miami Dolphins appear to be rebuilding. There's no Jalen Waddle, no Tyreek Hill, all right? There's no Tua Tagovailoa. They're in full rebuild mode, but the Bengals will be at Miami this upcoming season. So you'll be at Miami, at Washington, at Houston. CJ Stroud and the Texans. CJ Stroud, an important season for him coming up. He looked like he put on one of the most, I think, one of the most dominating rookie seasons in the history of the NFL. I mean, we thought, Jaden Daniels, up until Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud looked like he had performed and pulled off one of the most impressive rookie seasons in the history of the league. And then Jaden Daniels came along, and we have not seen CJ Stroud return to form since his rookie season. So it's a big opportunity for him to show the Texans that he's worthy of being paid and getting that major extension. Texans a little concerned about giving him a $55 million contract, and rightfully so. As far as other Bengals opponents for the road, the Colts going up against Lou Anarumo, their former defensive coordinator over there. The Atlanta Falcons, Kevin Stefanski, former Browns coach, now over there, of course. And then the Carolina Panthers, who were a sneaky good team last year. They made the playoffs. Nonetheless. But the Panthers, the Falcons, the Colts, the Texans, the Commanders, the Dolphins, those are the teams that the Bengals will play next year out of the AFC North on the road. And then, of course, you're going to get Patrick Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence. All right, you'll get the Titans, the Saints, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Those are your out of AFC North games for your Cincinnati Bengals for 2026. So we will find out. We know who they'll play, but we'll find out when the Bengals play them coming up here in about a month. As far as the Browns are concerned, all right, as far as the Cleveland Browns are concerned, with the schedule that's going to be coming out here in about a month, here's who the Browns are scheduled to be playing next season, or at least the teams. As far as home games, obviously you have your AFC North teams. You have Baltimore, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, the usual, right? But playing in Cleveland next year, the Browns will, and the Browns were so much better at home than the road last year. That's a given for any team. But the Browns on the road next year, the Browns at home next year will play CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans. They will play the Indianapolis Colts in Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski and the Falcons will, play in Cleveland next season as well. Carolina and the Raiders, who have the number 1 overall pick. So home games for the Browns next season, the Texans, the Panthers, the Colts, the Raiders, and the Falcons, plus all the AFC North teams, Ravens, Bengals, and Steelers. As far as the Browns road opponents are concerned outside of the AFC North, Cleveland will head to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. They will be on the road in New Orleans to take on the Saints. Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay. The Browns will be going up against their former quarterback on the road. The Browns will be at Tennessee, at New York, and at New York. They'll be at the Jets, and they'll be at the Giants, as well as at Tampa, at New Orleans, at Jacksonville, and Tennessee. I'm not going to lie. I could see the Browns having a significantly better road schedule significantly better road record next season than home schedule. I look at Tennessee. I think, Tennessee's very beatable. The Saints are beatable. The Jets are beatable. I don't think that the Giants are going to be as good as what everyone is making them out to be. I think that they're beatable. Jackson Dart, can he have a great, second year? Can he stay healthy? And that's something that Harbaugh dealt a lot with in Baltimore. He had a 2-time MVP quarterback in Lamar Jackson, but he also had a problem with the 2-time MVP quarterback staying healthy and being able to stay out on the field. But, Jacksonville, which Jacksonville are you going to get? Pittsburgh, how good are they going to be? It's the post Mike Tomlin era. How good are they going to be? And then the Bengals, who are improved, you usually get your split with the Bengals nonetheless. So the Browns will have opportunities to get some wins, but I think that some of their easier games, if you will, are all on the road. Houston, one of the best defenses in the league. I'm still not sold on Cleveland's offense. The Colts, one of the best defenses in the league. Not sold on the Browns offense. As far as that goes, the Raiders, potential win there. Carolina, sneaky good. And then the Falcons, we'll see. Kevin Stefanski has a chance to prove that, hey, if he has weapons, he knows what the hell he's doing. But that's an idea for your Browns and Bengals. We know who they're going to play. We just don't know when they're going to play nonetheless. Okay. I want to stay in the NFL. This came out earlier this week, and I had it in my notes. I just haven't been able to get to it until today. That standout defensive lineman Dexter Lawrence has requested a trade, and he did not show for the first day of New York Giants offseason program on Tuesday. And it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to land elsewhere, but again, these are voluntary, opportunities, and he is not voluntarily showing up to work because he's not happy with where things stand between him and the Giants and his ongoing contract negotiation. Giants coach John Harbaugh expressed optimism during a video call with reporters on Tuesday, saying that Dexter Lawrence situation can eventually get settled with him remaining in New York. Lawrence has been hoping for a new deal from the Giants for the past 2 off seasons. And as we know, it's one thing if you expect it and it doesn't come right away, but then you go through the second season and here you are heading in to your 3rd straight season wanting to get a deal done, and the deal is not done yet. For one, you just got a question like the Giants, like why isn't it done? You have a quarterback on a rookie deal. You don't have any major expensive contracts. You didn't pay Saquon Barkley. Like what is the holdup here? If you're the Giants on getting a deal done for a dominant pass rusher, something that teams need to win. It's not like he's a super old player. It's not like the situation in Cincinnati where you had Hendrickson. Hendrickson, of course, the NFL sack leader, the last full season that he played. It wasn't that the Bengals said he's not talented. It's they just didn't want to do a long-term investment into somebody as old as he is. That's going to be the thing. So, look, Dexter Lawrence scheduled to make $20 million this upcoming season. That would put him as the 10th highest paid interior defensive lineman. It's less than players such as Jordan Davis, John Franklin Myers from the Titans, and some other key players like that. Harbaugh said on Tuesday when he was asked about, Kayvon Thibodeau's future, he said that, not just Dexter Lawrence, but everybody's tradable. Everybody. He tried to make a joke and say that the reporter that asked the question tried saying that if he had any value, that he'd be traded away as well. So we'll see what happens moving forward. I mean, look, these things always get ugly. They're always ugly, and they usually get solved more times than not. But if the Giants really are, looking at Harbaugh and saying, hey, Harbaugh, it's your number one, maybe doesn't want to put heavy dollars into any major contracts until he figures out just who this team is. You think you have a quarterback in Jackson Dart, who has shown a lot of signs, a lot of promise. Jackson Dart was very good last year, but I don't look at him as having as good of a rookie season as that of a Jaden Daniels in years past. I talked about C.J. Stroud, who looked as good as any forget rookie. He looked as good as any quarterback in the NFL his rookie year. Hasn't even come close to looking anywhere remotely close to that since then. So I think the Giants are sitting back saying, do we really want to lock ourselves down into any major significant contracts right now when we, kind of want to know who our quarterback is first? We kind of want to know the direction of that first before we make any brash decisions, because there's some really good QBs coming out of next year's draft, and you might be able to get some additional draft capital if you move on from the likes of a Dexter Lawrence. So $20 million a year, look, that's a solid number for Dexter Lawrence. But again, for his player as good as he is, that's the 10th highest paid contract for that particular position. I understand why he's done being patient and demanding a trade and not showing up to voluntary workouts. But here's where I'm starting to sit back, and I'm looking at a team like Cincinnati. And, I do got to see real quick Dexter Lawrence, what his age is as far as that's concerned. He's 28 years old, right? 28 years old. If you gave him an extension, that would take him into his early 30s, but you still get Dexter Lawrence. If you're a team like the Bengals that would be interested in kicking the tires on getting a deal like this done, to get that major extension done. To the Bengals' credit, I don't think that the Bengals were ever against paying Trey Hendrickson the dollars that he wanted. What they didn't want was to give him the dollars that he wanted 2, 3, 4 years down the road when he's a significantly older pass rusher. I understood why the Bengals were willing to die on that hill. I don't think that beggars could be choosers. I think that when you are a significantly, horrifically bad defensive team like the Bengals, I get where you have principles and you have a standard and you have a way of doing business, but sometimes you got to throw those standards and ways of doing business out the door because you need as many good defensive players as you can. You're not in a position when you have the worst defense in the NFL. You're not in a position to look at a guy like Hendrickson and say, nah, no, thanks, we're good. But that's what they did. They didn't get anything back for him. They didn't get anything back for him whatsoever. People like to bring up the fact that, okay, they can get a compensatory third-round pick back for him. That's true, but you don't get that until potentially next season. That doesn't necessarily help you right now. So if the Bengals truly are in need of a dominant pass rusher and you are willing to pay for that pass rusher, you just didn't want to pay for Trey Hendrickson. I like the idea and the concept of the Bengals looking at a guy like a Dexter Lawrence and saying, hey, what could we get with the 10th overall pick this year? What players can we truly get, at number 10? And what players can we get that are going to come in and make and have as immediate of an impact as what we could get if we gave up one of these first-round picks to go get a Dexter Lawrence? You go get a Dexter Lawrence. You look at the AFC North right now. It is not the AFC North, that we're accustomed to. The Ravens, we're going to find out just how good of a coach Harbaugh is. Losing Harbaugh, I think, is going to be, quite an adjustment period for the Ravens. You talk about the fact that, you look at the Steelers, first year without Mike Tomlin. And I don't think that they were very good with. I mean, I know they won the division a year ago, but they were just solid. They were okay. They were an average team that won a bad division last year. And the Browns, they have two quarterbacks, but I don't think they have a quarterback between them. So I don't know what Cleveland is. I don't know who the Ravens are. I don't know who the Steelers are. The Bengals, to me, are wasting an opportunity where they can go for the kill shot. They can go for the kill shot. I like the moves that they made this offseason. I think they made a lot of really good moves. I don't think that they're Super Bowl altering moves. I don't think there's any moves that they made that make me look at Cincinnati and say, oh, yeah, that's a Super Bowl contender. But this is a move that I would put them in as a Super Bowl contender because of the moves that they made before it. When you go get the defensive end in Mafe, that they get that 3-year contract done with him. They got you go and you add Brian Cook, the safety, on the back end of that defense. Right. And you just, you add another pass rusher and Jonathan Allen. You got him on a 2-year deal through the 2027 season. So you got Jonathan Allen, you got Mafe, you have, of course, Brian Cook as at the safety position. If I'm the Bengals, I'm looking to go for the kill shot. I'm looking to go for a super uber aggressive move here. And I'm calling up the Giants and I'm sending my 2026 first round pick to go get Dexter Lawrence. If you were the Bengals, how many picks have you whiffed on in the last 3 years? And even the ones that you haven't whiffed on, they're not franchise changers. Mims is okay. Shamar Stewart, you really don't know. You're still trying to convince yourself that Jenkins and some of these other guys that you got are worth the damn. They're just okay. These guys are just okay. And you can't keep trying to capitalize on the Joe Burrow era and win a Super Bowl if you just keep drafting busts to just okay. So if the purpose of a draft pick is to be able to bring you a player that is going to turn your franchise around, whether you draft a player or you use that pick to go get an impact player. And to me, if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, I don't want to use my top 10 pick on a player that is going to come in and be solid for them. I would rather use my top 10 pick to go get a guy that's going to be an instant game changer. If the Bengals called up the Giants with a package that includes their 2026 first round pick, I think the Bengals become instant Super Bowl contenders. I don't think they're there yet. I think they are a playoff contender. I think they're good enough to win that AFC North. I don't think the division's very good. I think there's a lot of question marks. The Ravens, who are they with Harbaugh? Who are the Steelers in the post-Mike Tomlin era? The Browns is the Browns. I love the Browns, but the Browns is the Browns. All of a sudden, the Bengals go from being one of the most lopsided teams in the AFC North to all offense, no defense, to now You added Brian Cook. You added Mafe. You added, some pass rushers. And now you go get Dexter Lawrence on top of it, all complemented and not even complemented, all tag teamed by an offense that features Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, and potentially other weapons you add in this draft. I think the Bengals would be absolutely ridiculously stupid to not do everything they can to go get a player like a Dexter Lawrence. Bengals fans, 937-518-1410. What say you? I'm doing everything I can if I am Duke Tobin in that front office in Cincinnati to go get a Dexter Lawrence. What's the downside? Why is there any fan out there that could say, no, I don't like that idea? Why wouldn't you like that idea? Can you convince me why the Bengals wouldn't entertain it? Why would you want to use your number 10 pick for a guy that can maybe come in and make an impact based on their draft history, or use that top 10 pick to go get a guy that you know is going to make an immediate impact, and a guy like Dexter Lawrence? You get him, there's not a guy you're going to pick with that number 10 pick that is going to do more for your franchise than what Dexter Lawrence would if you use that number 10 pick to go land a guy like him. 937-518-1410. It's the Justin Kinner Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-216-1635 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-216-1635. That's 800-216-1635. What do you have to lose? Call 800-216-1635. Again, 800-216-1635.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repair? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or give us a call and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Dayton's radio home for Buckeyes football. 1410 WING. Dayton's ESPN Radio. The Reds invented something new, wallet load management. They rest the bank account like the NBA rests its players. The Justin Kinner Show, right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
All right, and we are back. Hour number 2. It's 4 o'clock here in the Miami Valley. Another hour, another chance for you to win $1,000. It's our 2026 spring payout cash contest. The winning word is time. Text the word time. It's time to text time. Text time, T-I-M-E, to 937-518-1410. Text time, T-I-M-E, to 937-518-1410. We're giving away $1,000 every weekday from now through the end of April. Be listening for the winning word each and every hour, starting at 8 a.m., Monday through Friday, all the way through 6 p.m. So when you hear that winning word, text it to 937-518-1410. So for this hour, text time, 937-518-1410 for your chance to win $1,000. So earlier this week, it was announced that Dexter Lawrence was, demanding a trade out of New York. He's going to be due $20 million this upcoming season. He's been demanding and searching for a contract extension for 2 straight seasons and has had enough. He's 28 years old. He's one of the best pass rushers in football, but he is coming off of his worst statistical, seasons throughout his career. Now, when asked about it, there was a lot of, there was some injuries last year, frustrated, not playing, didn't play well due to just kind of being a little disgruntled in his current situation in New York. I get that. I did see that. I think it was Gary Peck who commented on in the chat something about, hey, I wouldn't necessarily say that he's dominant. He only had a half a sack last year. Yeah, he did not have a dominant season last year. Nonetheless, but there are teams that are going to be willing to give up a first-round pick for him. Now, to be fair, I'm sitting here saying that the Bengals really need to entertain the idea of potentially, giving up their first-round pick to go get a Dexter Lawrence. So, according to this report on ESPN, multiple league sources have indicated that the likely return for Lawrence in a trade would be in the range of a first-round or second-rounder and more. Let me reiterate that. My apologies. Multiple league sources indicated that the likely return for Dexter Lawrence in a trade would be in the range of a late first-round pick or a second-rounder. Now, I get it. When you have the number 10 pick, that's not a late-round pick. All right? That's not a late first-round pick. But this goes back to my point about the whole, Trey Hendrickson thing. Beggars can't be choosers. These teams and front offices have certain rules. Well, you don't give up a top 10 pick for a Dexter Lawrence. Well, where are you going to get a Dexter Lawrence then, Cincinnati? Because there wasn't one available in free agency, and you weren't willing to go get one there. You could sit there and say, well, we're going to draft somebody. I have zero confidence in your ability to draft. And you would waste your top 10 pick if you draft somebody and bust on that pick, as opposed to if you use that pick to get a Dexter Lawrence who will come in and make an immediate impact. I like those odds better. The whole purpose of a draft pick is to go get a player that is going to help you win for the foreseeable future. And sure, Dexter Lawrence would be a player that wouldn't be in Cincinnati for the next 10 years. Doesn't have to be. You have Joe Burrow in his prime right now, and you have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins for the next 2 or 3 years. That's the window that you should be focused on. And I'm not saying that you make reckless decisions that put you in hell, cap hell post Joe Burrow in his prime. But at the same time, you do everything you can right now to try to win in this 3 or 4 year window. That's why you move on. Like, how many draft picks have the Bengals wasted in recent years? If I'm a Bengals fan, even if you use that first-round pick to go get a Dexter Lawrence and it doesn't work out, I'm not mad, because that's an aggressive move. And again, you're not going to want to be like me. I'm a Browns fan. I get that, but I can forgive my team for making bad, aggressive moves. I would rather my team be bad because they made too aggressive of a move, which is the situation my team is in. I would rather my team be bad because my front office was too aggressive than my team be bad because my front office doesn't work hard enough. And that's kind of Cincinnati. My team, as I'm a Browns fan, my team was too aggressive with Deshaun Watson, and it's worked against them. And I'm angry about it. I hate that it didn't work out. But I'm also not going to sit here and say that, oh, man, I'm mad that my team tried to be super aggressive and go get a star quarterback, a star player at the number one most important position in football. I'm mad that it didn't work out. It's embarrassing, yes, but damn it, I appreciate the fact that the ownership said, we got really good players here. We got to swing for the fences. It backfired, but I still appreciate it. I don't care how silly that sounds. I wish it worked out. But what I would have a bigger problem with is what the Bengals do, where you have a window to go win a Super Bowl, and instead of being aggressive, it's just a lot of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, I like the moves they made this offseason. Those are, you go get Mafe, the guy from the Seahawks, right? You get the Jonathan Allen deal done. Another solid move. You go get Brian Cook to put on the back end of your defense at safety. You add a Dexter Lawrence in with all three of those moves, you are now a legitimate Super Bowl contender. I don't know if there's a team in the AFC that is more stacked on both sides than the Bengals if they do that move. There's good defenses in the AFC. There's solid offenses in the AFC, but the Bengals would go from one of the most lopsided teams in football to the most balanced team in football if you go get a Dexter Lawrence deal done. Like I said, the Bengals using their number 10 pick. Great, but what have they done? What has the front office done? What have they done in the draft in recent years that makes you confident that they're going to go get someone that's going to make an impact versus using that top 10 pick to go get a guy that will make an immediate impact now and for the immediate future? If I'm a Bengals fan, I am pleading for the Cincinnati Bengals to go get a deal done for Dexter Lawrence. Show aggressiveness. Go do it. If the Bengals are aggressive and you go get Dexter Lawrence and it doesn't work out, at least if it doesn't work out this time, something doesn't work out because you were being aggressive. When it doesn't work out because you just try to rely on the draft and you know that you're not good at drafting, that's not a good thing. You have to be aggressive. You have a limited window of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. Go all in that window. And I think going aggressive after a guy like Dexter Lawrence, to me, puts the Bengals in that conversation. 937-518-1410. Again, you can text the station as well, 937-518-1410, or you can call in. I mean, am I wrong here? Like, I feel like not attempting to go after him is a ridiculously lame move if you are the Cincinnati Bengals. I like the moves you made, but I don't think you're winning a Super Bowl with those moves. But with those moves, with, of course, a Dexter Lawrence, now I'm putting the Bengals at the top of my Super Bowl odds list in the AFC. And the Bengals need to be thinking that way. You didn't want to pay Trey Hendrickson because he was too old. Well, this guy's in his 20s. You can use your top 10 pick, but I have zero confidence based on what you've done in the last 3, 4, 5 drafts outside of the 2020 draft with Joe Burrow and T. Higgins. And then, of course, Jamar Chase the next year. Outside of that, what was your, fourth best draft pick? What we thought was a Logan Wilson, and that wrapped up very quickly. I'm just saying, use those draft picks are meant to go get you impact players. And it doesn't always mean in the draft. Those picks can go get you an impact player, and that guy could be Dexter Lawrence. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. Going to talk some Reds again coming up around the corner. We'll have more on the Bengals in the offseason coming up. We talked about the Bengals and the NFL as a whole. They're going to be doing their schedule release coming up here in about a month. They're aiming for that May 14th, May 15th timeframe to release it. But yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on that as we get closer and closer. And then this Dexter Lawrence move, or news, if you will, came out. He's demanding a trade out of New York. He wants paid. Well, if he wants out of New York, and the Bengals want to, and the Giants want to get some draft, comps back, the Bengals do it. Use your draft picks to go get players to help you win now, whether you draft them or whether you use them to go trade for an impact player. That impact player could be Dexter Lawrence. And Dexter Lawrence could be why Joe Burrow and the Bengals hoist up a Super Bowl trophy this season. All right, I'm Justin Kinner. It's 4:10 here in the Miami Valley. We'll step away for a few moments. We'll talk Reds. Reds get a big win last night in extra innings. Not only was it a big win for the Reds from an individual game standpoint, it was a series win, their second straight series win, their third series win in 4 series to start the 2026 season. And they go for their second straight sweep here tonight with Brady Singer on the mound. We'll talk about all of that when we come back. It's the Justin Kinner Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Our forecast, partly cloudy, 51 tonight. Sunny, 77 tomorrow and Friday. It's mostly sunny. Chance of a shower late and 75. I'm Rick Schrepp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
This is Lieutenant Governor Jim Tressel. If you're driving and take a quick glance at your phone, more can happen than you might think. Because taking your eyes off the road for even just a moment is like driving the entire length of a football field blind. Don't let those few seconds distract you from what's right in front of you. Phones down, eyes up, Ohio.
Upgrade to a new quality bath remodel in less time with minimal inconvenience and for less money with Bath Creations in as little as 2 days. We do it right. There are a lot of others boasting about bath remodels these days. Well, Bath Creations' expert craftsmanship and customer service speaks for itself. Plus, all first responders, veterans, and active military will save an additional $500 off your purchase. Visit our beautiful showroom at 8741 North Kimball Road in Clayton or at mybathcreations.com and upgrade your new bath today. Let the good times roll. Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun or a great time out with friends. Join us this summer for fun adult, youth, mixed, or travel leagues. Polking Bowling Centers have a program just for you. All full Summer League bowlers get a VIB pass and a chance to win cash and prizes. Ask about our Summer Pass where you can bowl for $1 a game. Limited days and times. And don't forget to ask about Kids Bowl free. Let the good times roll at Polking Lanes, Dayton, Polking Woodman Lanes, Kettering, and Polking Lanes South in Centerville.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters,